Right, the purpose of this video is to look at the scale tool, where basically what we're going to do is change the scale of the figure, or change the scale of an object. So for example, let's say we're going for a basketball, so let's draw a ball in. Okay, get it in like there. Basketballs tend to be orange. Yes, what fell in the centre, so we've now got a basketball. What we don't need is we don't need two basketballs. Actually, that was a good point. I should show you that as well. So to delete an object, you simply make sure the object's selected, press the delete key on the keyboard. Go on. Right, so I've got this basketball here, and we can rotate it, and hurrah! But you know, we can move it around. But what we can't do is bring it in or out of the camera. Now, if I put it in front of the man here, what I want to do is I want to try and create a little animation where the object flies off towards the centre. So I'm going to hold it, so it's going to be like a sort of chest pass, and we're going to create a new frame. Now, for a chest pass, when you think how people's arms move, I don't normally stick up here for a start, we have to move them down. At this point, the ball is going to do most of our hiding for us, so we can't see how long those arms are, but we do know the ball's too small, so we need to click on it, and you'll see this time we can then just up the scale. Now as we up the scale by 10%, then take a new frame. Again, this goes down towards us. Wrong one. Clicking on the object, and again another 10%, and a new frame. And again, this time the pass is more or less completed, so the hands finish off in their final rest position. We're back on that object, and we're going to scale it up by another 10%. And all we're going to do is we're going to do scaling now from 10% for each frame. And you notice the ball is gradually getting bigger for each frame. And eventually, what will happen is the ball will obscure sorry, I managed to confuse myself. I thought I had managed to confuse myself. So 50, 60, 170, 180. I'm just curious to see what it's going to be. I could just keep doing that, but let's just hit for a wee loop here and hit for a play. Then you see, so the ball appears to be coming out and away from the centre, and that's fine, but we could always go back. Basketball passes tend not to be flat like that, they tend to go up the way, and therefore we could move the ball a little bit so it appears to move, and we can do that by simply going back the first frame, and then I'm just going to take this ball and I'm going to give it a little bit of motion. I'm just doing this by eye. Remember, it's already scaling each time, so all I'm doing is moving it, and we're just going to that was frame 6, let's go along here. So okay, and we'll have something that looks a wee bit like this. So if I just play it, you now see we've got motion, and it's getting bigger, therefore it appears to be coming closer to the centre. Now that'll look kind of funky for you because I'm recording at 2 frames per second, not 10, so I'll slow it down and play it back so you can get some idea of how it works. Obviously we have to work on the motion of the arms, but there is scaling. And all we're doing is we're scaling that object to make it larger as it comes closer to the camera, and their brain fills in the gaps and says, oh, look at that, it's coming closer towards us. And by giving it that little bit of upward motion at the same time, you start thinking, right, it's a basketball pass, and you can start to see that working there, which is fine. But let's say, for example, you don't want to just use the scale tool over the side here, you want to do something different. So one of the bits we looked at there is the arms. Well, we can stretch the individual points here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold down Control on the keyboard, and I'm going to press mouse button on the axis, on the node, sorry, and you can see now we can stretch this. And this effect, now it's hard to do because you're recording at 2 frames per second, but this effect simply allows us to make it look like the hand is coming closer to us or further away. So closer, further away, closer, further away, because it's bending. You know, and we know how anatomy works, and we know that arms don't grow and get bigger, so the human brain will go, well, right, okay, we're just going to swing that hand. So let me give you a wee effect of that. If I just create a new stick figure, and I'm just going to drop it in place here, and I'm going to create a new frame, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to line him up so he's more standing. So let's just bring the hands down like that. Okay, and I'm going to try and give the effect of weights, so I've never done this before either. So ba, ba, blah. Okay, so here we have the object and the weights, and all I want to do is I'm just going to make it look like he's just doing a set of reps on the weights here, and I'm going to do that by adjusting the scale, not by doing anything else. So new frame. First thing I need to do is I need to move the weights, then I'm going to hold down Control and I'm going to move the arm. Okay, new frame, move the weights. My computer just glitched out on me there. I'm not entirely sure what's happened, but I'm now no longer responding. Anyway, while I wait for my computer to go back, I'll just fill in the back. So what I'm actually doing is, by moving the weights, we should have a position now where, if I take a new frame, it's glitched. Glitching badly. Let's try doing this. Save that as, I'm just going to save it as basketball. I think what actually just happened is I just lost my server for a wee minute. Okay, save it, close it. Let's try and get back to the one I was working with. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on, but frames are still shown here. So if I do a file save as, I don't want to really start this from start again, so I'm just going to keep talking over the glitch and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let me just try this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've saved it and I'm just going to open it again. Ugh. Let's see if it's actually doing any of those. So it's got the second one. New frame, moving this, and again Control and this tab. New frame, and I'm just going to bring it back. Oh, my bad. Like that. I'll hit it for a loop, and there you go. So your brain doesn't think, oh, it's expanding and contracting. Your brain thinks he's moving up and down. And we could enhance that effect by a wee bit of use of scale, and just by simply, as it reaches its maximum, I'm just going to select the dumbbell and I'm going to scale it by 5%, which will make it look a little bit bigger. And again, if we then just knock that down at 2 frames per second, so you can see it. I'm recording at 2 frames per second, that's why I keep knocking it down. We can see this sort of effect. Right. Where although it's only subtle that it's getting bigger, you can see that the object appears to get a little bit bigger, and therefore our brain's happy. So there you go. So scaling tool, and that's us.